aim to conduct load test on the given DC shunt motor and to draw the following characteristics curve: armature current versus torque, speed versus torque, and the performance characteristics. Nameplate details and precautions to be considered.
Now we will discuss how to conduct the load test on the DC shunt motor. Let us see the nameplate details of the shunt motor. The rated power is 2.2 kilowatts. Then the rated speed is 1500. Armature voltage is 220 volt. Armature current is 10 ampere. Field voltage 220 volt. Field current 0.8 amperes. Next we will see the precautionary measures of DC before conducting the DC shunt motor. Initially the spring balance should be kept at the 0 position, and you can able to see that during that condition the belt should be free to move. Then we have to pour the water to avoid the heating. Now we will see how to give the circuit connections.
So as we are aware that your these two connections, which you can see of the rheostats, are actually placed in opposite direction in reality. Here we are showing this towards away from the plane only for conduction purpose. So we are aware that the field rheostat should be in cutout position and the armature rheostat should be in cut-in position. Armature rheostat should be in cut-in to avoid your inrush current. So as shown in the actual circuit diagram, there are two meters which are required. One is ammeter and another is voltmeter. So based on the circuit, based on your nameplate details, one has to select the ratings of ammeter and voltmeter. So these are the two knobs. I leave it for the students to observe. Why is it in to understand further on cut-in and cut-out. So these are the connections that we'll be using for shunt load test on DC shunt motor. That is positive, negative, Z, 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 A, and AA. And rest all knobs for connections are invalid for the current given experiment. So let's start connection. So from fuse, there is some positive of the knob is going to positive of ammeter. Then the other end of ammeter, it is going to the field rheostat, one knob of the field rheostat. And from the field rheostat, the other end, which is not connected, it goes to Z. Then ZZ has two connections, one towards left, another towards right. Let's see the one going towards left. So from Z, it goes to negative supply. Next, we'll see voltmeter at the end how to connect. Then from the negative end of ammeter, having a junction to the field rheostat. So from there, it has to connect to the armature rheostat. Then the other end of armature rheostat should be connected to A. Then AA has to be connected to ZZ, sorry. Now we'll connect voltmeter across your armature. Positive to positive and negative to negative.
Supply lines. Now we can see what and all are the readings should be taken during the conduction. So first we have to calculate the radius of the breakdown, that you can able to see from the circumference of the breakdown. Now first we have to note down the constant DC input voltage, then armature current, then spring balance F1, F2, then the speed of the motor. The value of torque, input power, output power and efficiency can be calculated. Now we'll start the connection. First you have to switch on the main supply. Then you have to close the DPSTS switch. Now the motor started running. Now see the speed of the motor under no load condition. So it is 1409 only. And you can able to see the value of the supply voltage also. So this is 110 volt, but this voltmeter is connected to 250 volt, but full scale deflection is 125 only. So we have to, our multiplication factor is 2. So 220 volt. Similarly, the ammeter also connected to the 10 ampere. So this also should be multiplied with 2. Now we we have to make the motor to run at the rated speed. So we are going to vary the armature rheostat. We have to vary the armature rheostat to reach 1500 RPM. Okay, now you can able to see that the speed is 1501. So now the load is at 0. So we have to note down the value of the armature voltage, armature current, and then we have to note down the spring balances also. And the speed already we have observed 1500. So now the spring balance is 0, 0. So these two under no load condition we have to note down in the tabular column. Then now we are going to apply the load. Slowly we are going to apply the load by varying the spring balances. So now I have applied the value. So you can able to see the variations in the spring balances, and you can able to measure the value of the speed also. Then note down the value of the armature voltage and then armature current. So you can able to conduct the experiment till the value of the rated current. So here our rated current is 10 ampere. So till 10 ampere, even though the DC shunt motor can be operated 25% extra the value. So till 20.5 ampere, you can able to note down the value of the. You can able to apply the load and you can able to measure V in IA and then corresponding spring balances and then load value. Now we can able to see how to turn up spring balances and then load value. Now we can able to see how to turn up the device. So you have to release the load. So you have to bring the spring balance to 0 position. Then bring the armature rheostat to maximum resistant position. Then switch off the main supply. Then open the DPST switch. So what and all are the data we have measured? So that should be tabulated, corresponding input power, output power and efficiency also calculated using the formulas. Then you have to draw the graph as shown in the model graph. Thank you.
So in this video, I think students can observe that the field rheostat was not moved from cutout to cut in, because by varying the armature voltage, we have gained the speed to 1500 RPM. Since the voltage was too high in the lab, we have set the voltage to 220. With respect to that, we have attained 1500 RPM, and we have not moved the field rheostat, which generally we use it only to run the machine at rated speed.